up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I have today off before going back in for 3 days. I'm working this weekend and then working Monday. I really try not to work 3 days in a row, but sometimes it just shakes out that way. I know some people like to stack their days, gives them a little more time off, but I just feel like so burnt out. 2 I can do, 3 not so much. But anyway, that's why I'm trying to make the most of this day off. So I have a lot planned, and something I've been trying to focus on my day off, just to feel my best, is not necessarily to be like super productive or get a lot done, but it's more about focusing on doing things for myself. Like, while I like to get stuff done and I have to do the things that I have to do in my life, I also like to think about like what's going to make me happy and what is going to help me achieve my goals outside of work. So something I'm focusing on right now is balancing hormones, and I'm experimenting with things like cycle syncing. So a new part of my routine is waking up and drinking a warm lemon water before I eat, and then eating before I have coffee. So that has been a little tough for me. The lemon water thing is really just focused on having water at the beginning of my day, and I just can't drink like straight water in the morning. So it's more fun for me to have like a nice warm lemon water. And then I'm about to make breakfast, hence my little avocado. And then I'll make my latte after that. And it has been a little bit of an adjustment. On the mornings that I work, I just wake up and make my coffee because gotta pick our battles here. But I've been really liking it. It's been like a good part of my routine. And it's just one of the ways that I've been focusing on myself on my days off. So I'm about to make breakfast, and then we will keep going with the day. One of those days where it was so hard to wait for this latte. I worked yesterday and I feel like it just like took it out of me. I've gotten so used to these like holiday shifts because during the holidays we actually like didn't have a lot of people. I mean, it was still like somewhat busy, but there was a lot of times where I just, you know, had a really chill assignment, maybe even just one patient. And then I went back yesterday and it was like bam, just back to like what it used to be. I didn't have time to sit down, and it was one of those things where I was like eating in between doing things, which is how kind of it typically is. And I was like, oh God, this is how it's gonna be, you know, moving forward, because we're gonna start to move into our like busy season. Sometimes after those shifts, I even feel like I physically like look tired. My eyes feel heavy, which is even more reason why I need to spend today kind of doing things for me. But right now, I'm actually gonna do one of the things that I have to do. I have my computer here, and I have some modules for work that I need to get done. And since I'm working the next 3 days, I'm not gonna be able to get them done, you know, unless I get some time at work, but I can't count on that. So I just want to get them out of the way. I'm gonna drink my coffee, crank these out, and then probably try to do something about my appearance. Whole Foods. Like I said earlier, I have 3 shifts coming up in a row, and I don't really feel like doing a bunch of stuff today to like prep meals for those 3 days, because I like to pack my lunch, and especially over the weekend, people like to order food, and like it's so tempting. I love ordering because it just kind of makes the day a little more fun, but I want to save money and eat better, so I'm gonna set myself up kind of for success for the next couple shifts by just running in and getting some things that are already at least semi-prepared to bring for lunch. I almost always do like overnight oats for breakfast, so that's kind of taken care of. I'm gonna see if I can find some fun like prepared meals and maybe some fun snacks that I can kind of assemble or get together today, so that these next few days are already taken care of, because like I know myself, I'm not gonna come home from any of these shifts and like worry about making a lunch or try to pack something, and if it's like not readily available, I will just try to wing it at the hospital, and that literally never goes well, especially if we're busy. It just makes it like way more complicated. So I'm trying to be good, trying to get ahead of it and take part of this day to just get myself feeling organized, which kind of like lowers my anxiety a little bit about working 3 days in a row, because I know probably to some people that sounds like crazy, like that I would be anxious about 3 days in a row, because that's so easy for some people, but I don't know, it like shifts like really put a lot of stress like on my body, and especially at my job, we are on our feet all day. We have like a very high volume of patients, so like as soon as I lose one patient, I usually get another one, and I just feel like, you know, sometimes there's an emotional toll, physical toll, and I just get really tired after my shifts. So I know that 3 in a row is gonna just kind of compile on itself. So if I can like be prepared for these shifts and spend some of today taking care of myself, then hopefully it'll lessen the anxiety and the impact a little bit. And then when I have a day off after these shifts, I'll really try to prioritize myself and my mental and physical health after it too, because I know that I'm gonna need some like rest and recovery. I think that's been the biggest learning curve for me, is just understanding like my limits and how to take care of myself like between shifts, to both like feel productive and good about my life, because I don't want to just scroll on my phone all day, but also not feel like every single day off has to be full of a bunch of productive things and like going to the gym and, you know, kind of killing myself outside of work when work is, you know, tough enough. So I really feel like I am finally finding a balance, and I actually feel so good with where I am right now, balancing like work and life, and feeling confident in my job and also feeling confident outside my job. So balance does exist. It's out there. You just need to figure out like what that means for you. So let's go see if I can find some good snacks and food. Fingers crossed. Alright, I'm back from Whole Foods. When I said more affordable earlier, I might have been being a little bit like delusional about going to Whole Foods for affordable food, but I still think I'm gonna come out like better overall having packed my lunch instead of buying it. But I might rethink the whole Whole Foods thing in the future if I want to like save money. But I found some good snacks, and of course I got sidetracked and didn't just get things for lunch, I also got things for breakfast, which I didn't really need, so here we are. Couldn't help myself. I got these 7 burrito sized wraps. I'm gluten-free, and this is like the only brand I know of that sells wraps that are like burrito size, and not just like corn tortilla. I'm gonna be making some veggie wraps And what I'll do is just cut up the veggies today and get them all prepared. And then the night before my shift, I'll like throw it together into a wrap and put it in the fridge. Just because I think making a wrap like 2 days ahead of time, because I want to put like hummus and avocado in it, that might be a little hard. It won't be as fresh. But if I prep the veggies today, then it won't be as hard to make the wraps in between my shifts, just to take some of that work off, because I truly never feel like doing anything after I get home. I found these cauliflower pretzels. I've had these before. I hated them when I first tried them, but now I'm kind of addicted to them. And I like bringing these with peanut butter to work. Some Siete jalapeno lime tortilla chips. I've never had this flavor, but I've had their tortilla chips before, and I really like the nacho cheese one, which I almost got, but then I got tempted by the jalapeno lime. Some Nature's Bakery fig bars. These are like old school Fig Newton vibes, which would have literally horrified my younger self because I thought they were so gross, but now I kind of love these, and I like having a bar like this, like kind of a cookie type bar thing for the afternoons to kind of get me through those last few hours of a shift. I don't know why, it feels like a little treat. The prescription. For inside my wrap, I got a cucumber, some halloumi cheese. If you have never had halloumi, it is a game changer, especially for people who are vegetarian. I don't eat meat, which is kind of a bummer when it comes to making lunches sometimes, just because I would love to like throw together something as easy as like a turkey sandwich, but meat is just a no-go for me. So I found halloumi, and what I do is I slice it and then I grill it, and it's got this kind of firm texture to it. So it's almost like it's firmer than tofu, and it's almost like a mozzarella type cheese, but it's really good grilled and really good in like veggie sandwiches with hummus and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do for my wrap. And I also got a red pepper and some grape tomatoes that I'll slice up and put in there with some avocado and hummus. For breakfast, I literally have never had this. I just saw it and just bought it spontaneously. Kind of a irrational little buy, but it's this Remedy Cocoa Essential Smoothie. It has almond milk, cacao, dates, ashwagandha, maca, and prebiotics. And it's a whole, like, the whole brand is about like food healing you. So obviously it has to be healthy, but I got it for breakfast because I feel like this would be a good thing to kind of just grab in the morning if I didn't want to do oats like I usually do, and this will just like switch it up a bit. Another thing I found for breakfast is this little like oatmeal packet. I've had this brand before. They have these like Power Bites or whatever those like oat balls are called, and I thought this might be good. The GFB oatmeal, apple and cinnamon, ridiculously tasty and protein packed. As a vegetarian, I'm trying to just get a little more protein in my diet. I think there's plenty of ways to do that, but I'm just trying to amp it up a little bit because I personally don't really prioritize those foods all the time, and if I can sneak it in little ways, I will. But like, let's be honest, I really just bought this because it looked easy and good. I got some guacamole. If you've never had Whole Foods guacamole, just the one that they like do in their little containers, it's so good. I don't know why, but it's like there's nothing super special about it, but I really like it. One day for lunch, I got this avocado cucumber sushi. I'll bring like some extra snacks that day and just try to have like other things to eat with it, but I really like having these little sushi rolls, and then I just bring my own gluten-free soy sauce packets. Speaking of like expensive and why this wasn't really an economical choice, I picked up these cut fruit bowls. These are a huge ripoff and they're so expensive, but I did it for convenience, and I probably won't do it again, but The fruit actually looked like really good in it, which is not always the case, so I kind of got suckered. So I bought this like mixed berry and kiwi one, and then I got like these orange slices. This is probably like the stupidest thing I've ever bought in terms of saving money, but I have been obsessed with oranges lately. Like I just crave them like every single day, and I don't like touching stuff at work. Like I brought an orange the other day and I peeled it and stuff, and I just felt gross, and that's my own germophobia that's like catching on. And then to end on a kind of anticlimactic note, I got this butter lettuce, which I will also put in my wraps. Man, I wish I had been more strategic and picked a cooler thing to pick out last, but basically that's it. Like I said, it was a little expensive, but it'll last me the 3 days and beyond. I'll be able to make wraps and have lunches even after work and stuff. So I hope this gave you maybe a little inspiration. I know I'm always looking for new things that I can bring to eat, and I feel like when I bring fun stuff in my lunch and I like pack a good lunchbox when I go to work, then I actually get like more excited because I get little treats throughout the day, and it's important to find the little things that make you happy. I finally finished my modules for work. They literally took me forever. They were actually part of like orientation modules, and you're supposed to have them done by like 6 months of starting work, and like that obviously didn't happen. And so many people were like, oh, whatever, they don't even check. And so I just kind of never did them. And then they were like, oh, if you want your merit increase, like basically our raise for the year, they need to be done by January 15th. And I was like, oh, I have pretty much all of them to do. So you might hear Sean's music in the background. He's finishing up some work, but we're gonna go to dinner, and I'm really excited because it's my favorite restaurant. I kind of want to start my book before we go. It is very thick. I'm sure if you're like on the internet at all, you've heard of the ACOTAR series. A Court of Thorns and Roses was the first one, and I don't know literally anything about the series except for I read the first book. This is the second book, and I'm really excited to get into it. Okay, I'm like really scared to say stuff because I didn't realize until I had like started reading the books how big of like a cult following they have, and now my whole TikTok is like about the series, and like I guess there's potentially, I don't know if there's potentially a movie or a book, or if people just want there to be a movie or book. I can't like tell, and I don't want to Google too much because I'm afraid of getting it ruined for myself. So when I talk about this book, I feel like it's like from a newbie perspective, but I liked the first one, and obviously I'm like continuing to read it. So we'll see. I just thought it kind of dragged at the beginning, but maybe that's because it was like setting up the world and stuff. So I've been getting a lot more into reading lately, trying to read a lot on my days off, and like blowing through a lot of books. I keep my book list on this website called Benable if you want to check out like what's on my bookshelf and what I'll be reading next. I'll leave the link for my Benable below. You might need an invite code to like use the website, so I'll leave my invite code down there as well. But basically I've been reading up a storm and adding all my books to my list to just keep track, and then occasionally I'll write like a little review just so I can remember them, because there's really nothing I love more than a good book recommendation. I'm really excited that this is like a thick one because it'll take me a little while. I just finished Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it was really good. If you have not read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo yet, I highly recommend that book. It was one of the best books I read last year, so, and maybe ever. If you know anything about this series or you like it, let me know in the comments below, because I'm gonna keep going because I'm here for a series, especially one that's gonna be like a movie. So we'll see. We're back from dinner. I'm literally so full. I just need to lay down. It was really nice to have a date night before I'll be busy for the next couple days. Enjoy like a Friday night out. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. So many fun and exciting things coming. I will see you in the next one.